Listen, bro, someone's gonna tell you this at some point, but it's like somebody's always got it worse than you. Simply put, there is somebody out there in the world that always has it a lot worse than you do. So you can be the guy that complains about everything in his life and how everything is, unquote, so terrible, or you can be humble and grateful for the fact that you're in the position that you're in. Because I guarantee you, in fact, I don't just guarantee you, I know for a fact that somebody's always got it worse than you. There's somebody out there who's always going through a situation that's a million times worse than what you're dealing with now. Let me give you an example of something that kind of helped me come to this realization. I always kind of knew this, like, I always kind of understood it. It was nothing I ever had seen before, like, nothing I ever had a visual on. That is until the day I got my boot on for, when I was on crutches and had my big surgery, not too long ago. So pretty much, I was sitting in the doctor's office. I was waiting to be checked in and taken to where I was going to get my stitches out and fitted into a boot. And as I'm sitting there, this other guy comes in who's in a wheelchair. And not only does he have a cast on like I do, but he's also got a boot on the other foot. My man is in a wheelchair and has both of his feet in a position where he can't use them. In that moment, I was just blown away. I was just like, jeez. And I thought my life was rough, man. That right there was visual evidence of somebody having it a million times worse than me. Because, I mean, think about it. Like, what would he have been able to do on his own? Pretty much nothing, which is horrible. There was already so much at that point that I couldn't do on my own because, you know, I'm only walking with one foot and I'm on crutches. So it's like, really, how individually capable am I? Not very. But then you take a look at that guy, somebody who can't even get on crutches, somebody who has to be sat down all the time, somebody who can't even get up the stairs, even if that means just sliding up them on your butt, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I was doing. But I don't even think he could do that, to be honest, because, I mean, he can't even get out of the wheelchair on his own. He can't even get into bed on his own, or bathe on his own, you know? When you're in a position like that, it's like, somebody's got to do everything for you. And I mean everything. And in that moment, I was a lot more grateful to be where I was and understanding that, like, okay, I'm in crutches now, but I've only got about 4 weeks to go. So it's going to be hard, but what I'm dealing with now is nowhere near going to be as hard as what that guy is going through. And that was probably, for me, the biggest example, at least in recent times, that I've seen of, you know, actually getting visual proof of somebody having it worse than me. We always kind of understand and assume that somebody's always got it worse than us. And, you know, like I've said, it's always true. But we don't actually see it. And I guess that for me was one of the rare cases that I did see it. And, you know, a lot of people, like, have a lot of skeletons in their closet. A lot of people don't show what they're dealing with. A lot of people are able to keep a poker face and keep it all inside. And therefore, we're often to assume that these people aren't anywhere near going through the kind of stuff that we are, when in reality, they could always be going through something so much worse, you know. You might be dealing with a breakup. Your girl might have just left you, and she might have cheated on you or something like that. But this other guy that's walked past you, right, this guy could be, you know, he could have just lost his parents in a car crash, you know, like, I don't know, he might have just gotten diagnosed with cancer, you know. Everyone's got something that's so much worse that they're dealing with, and it's important to recognize that. And be grateful for your life, man. Like, a lot of people aren't. A lot of people aren't very grateful to be in the positions that they're in. And I mean, not everybody and a lot of people aren't in a great position. But I'm sure that whatever position that you're in now, somebody else wishes they were in your shoes. I guarantee it, bro. I guarantee it. 100%, bro. And often I feel like I'm one to, not as much anymore, but definitely a year or two ago, I would have been somebody to think that I had it rough and that my life was hell and, you know, all these other things that were so bad about what I was doing in my life and all this other shit. But I guarantee you, like, even like one of your friends could be somebody who wishes they were in your shoes, you know? Whatever demons they could be dealing with, like, you know, I bet somebody else in this world, even maybe 100 feet away from you, would gladly take your position any day of the week, other than the one they're in. And it's humbling to understand that, honestly. It's humbling and really gratifying to understand that firsthand. But yeah, that's all I really got for today, to be honest. Not a very long video, I know, but it was something I feel like I needed to get off my chest because of just, like, the way I've felt lately. I don't know. Felt a little strange, a little off, and had to remind myself of that very event and that very day kind of inspired me to make this video. Just remembering what somebody else is going through, you know? It's a crazy world out there. That's all I got for today. Stay blessed.